Hey YouTube. So it's Thursday morning. I was gonna cut that log that's on there yesterday, and it rained and rained and rained. I figured we got 6 inches of rain. You can see the loader bucket there is full of water. You can basically see where the water was running down through here. So instead of cutting yesterday, what we did was went to the store, and I'm not a shopper, so I really don't like going to the store, but it was better than nothing. So anyway, this morning it looks like it's supposed to rain today, they said, but I'm gonna take a chance at this and see if I can't get this cut up. I don't know whether you noticed, but I have no 2x4s laying anywhere. They're all selling. They're selling as fast as I can cut them. So I've got to get myself some more hemlock. I was reading an article. We have a local little museum around here that's called the Lumber Museum, and I was reading there where there was a time, of course 200 years ago, when in Pennsylvania we were selling all of the framing lumber for the East Coast, you know, and all the houses that were being built. Excuse me. But anyway, I know we have nice hemlock, and I know we have nice white pine around here. The problem isn't whether it's nice or not. The problem is actually getting it. A lot of times what happens is you know, it's hard to get the pine trees, and since 200 years ago you can figure that they pretty much cut them all up. I just want to move this ahead a little bit. Since 200 years ago, they cut all the pine trees up, and people now think that you can only buy framing lumber from the West Coast, which is a lot of nonsense. That's not true. But, I mean, I'm not saying they don't have any out there. I'm just saying that's not the only place to get it. So now that people are realizing that you can have good hemlock and good pine, white pine lumber here in this neck of the woods, now they're buying it. Especially when I can sell 2x4s for $3 a piece, an 8-footer. Now it's a full-size 2x4. If somebody wants them smaller, I can cut them, but I don't like to. But you figure $3 for a 2x4 for me is way more than I actually should have to charge. But you know, to stay in line with what prices are, I do. The thing is they're $8 a piece now, so it's pretty ridiculous. But if everybody's getting a raise, I guess that's where we're at. So anyway, let me get this thing started up, warmed up, and then I'll turn you back on so you can watch me cut this. I just want to get some 2x4s out of this thing so we can be on the track of what I'm supposed to be doing. Okay, well the sawmill's warmed up there now, so I want to cut these boards off of here, and I think I might end up with 4 2x4s. So better than nothing. This is the last to the next. There was one log above this tree yet, and I have it over there. It's not hardly worth cutting, but I'll cut that later anyhow. The thing is this is about the second log from the top of the tree. So I gotta put a little oil on my blade, and then I'll cut this. show you this wood den after I take that switch off. Can't beat this lumber. Those knots are all nice and tight. The wood is good and tight, so we should get some nice boards out of this. I don't know if we'll get the 4 of them. I hope so. Just to remind you of what I'm doing here for anybody that's new, is I'm turning the board or the cant or log so that it's even with the uprights, the backstops. That way there, when I go to cut this, I'll have 90-degree boards. Not that they're all messed up. Now, I've said this before, and I know that not everybody catches this, but if you look at these knots, what you have here is you can see that the tree branch was alive and the tree grew around a live branch. Now this one here, the branch was partially dying. You don't want any real big knots that are like that, because when you hit them with a hammer, they'll fall out. The ones that were reddish looking and alive, they don't fall out when you hit them. They're bound in there pretty tight. Just because I'm cutting on the bottom and the side doesn't mean that that's how you have to cut it. You can cut up the bottom, flip it over 180 if you want to, and cut whatever way you want. I don't care how you cut. All I care about is that it's square. That's what's important to me. Now you can see we have some flitch on both edges there. What I'm trying to do is get 8 inches out of this thing somehow. So I'm cutting it to 8 now. I might have to reduce that down a little bit, but I don't mind a little bit of flitch on the edge of a 2x4, especially when they're full size. If you watch my video, there's a lot of good guys on there that are making comments, and their comments are all good pretty much. Now, not just from people that don't know what they're talking about, but there are some guys in there who do this, and they know what they're talking about. So, you know, it all depends on what you want to do. I could cut 1.5 by 3.5 inch 2x4s, and I would probably definitely get them nice out of here, clean. But I want full 2x4s. I like them, and I think they're better off using that. But that's my view. It doesn't have to be yours. looking at, there's an 8x8 camp. The problem with it is that we have flitch here, the bottom, and pretty much all around. So some of these 2x4s are going to have some flitch on them. But I'll tell you the truth, because they're 2x4s, full size, I'm not going to let that bother me. I'm just going to go ahead and cut them. Sound too good. I hit the gosh darn dawg. So I don't even know if I'll be able to finish cutting this now. The blade's probably as dull as can be. was lucky there. I mean, I'm not lucky that I got to sharpen the blade, but what I'm talking about is that cut, that last cut is straight. So if I just take my time with it, I only need one more cut here and I'll have 8 2x4s. I just got to cut this down through the middle. So I'm praying that this thing's going to make it without giving me grief. So you can see the 2x4 there. Let me just show you. All I needed was that middle cut, and it came out nice and straight, simply because I just went real slow with it. So 2, 4, 6, 8, that's $24 in less than a half an hour. Now, I'm not charging for every single thing I could, even though in the past when I was, using this to bring in more money, I would charge for everything I did. Now, hey, if you come here and you need 2x4s, here they are. We'll go from there. And like I say, the guys like them. They like what they see. They can use them for what they want to use them for, and they're in good shape. Alright guys, so I'm going to be cleaning up here in a couple minutes. But before I do, I just want to go over a little something with you. So let me shut this off, and then I'll talk to you here. Wow, there's no doubt that that blade is bad. I'll show you just how bad it got. You can see it. I was lucky to get that last cut in there. Look at this right here. It actually took the tip right off. So it's dulled this thing pretty well. So I'm going to have to sharpen this before I do any more cutting with it, or put another blade on. And that's not a big deal. So anyway, there's 4 more 2x4s. If you wanted to sell them for, $6 a piece, which is still a fair price. So 6 times 8 is $48 in a half of an hour. Isn't bad. It's up to you how you want to do it. If I was a young guy and I needed the money, believe me, I'd be selling them for $7.50 a piece. Okay, so in the past, since the beginning of October last year, I've had diabetes for 32 years, and I just want to go over this a little bit with some of you guys that might be interested. When I first got diabetes, you know, the first thing they actually did was to tell me the truth, which was to stop eating. You know, not so much, don't eat so much. And I gotta be honest with you, I mean, I ate like a horse. There's just no doubt about it. I worked hard and I ate hard. The problem is I always could keep my weight at an even like 225 pounds for my whole life because, you know, I was working. But now that I'm not working and I'm retired, even though I do a lot of things, it's not working like I was. You know, it's not that steady 8 hours. It's more like 2 full hours, and that's about it. But what I'm getting at here is they told me I should go on a diet, this, that, the other thing. So I listened to the doctor for 32 years, and this is where I ended up. I was taking 250 units of insulin a day in order to keep my blood sugars down. And the worst thing about that is that I wasn't eating more than my wife, who weighs 126 pounds. Now here's the thing. I had gotten a email, or not an email, but a message, a comment from one of the guys that are on there, and he kind of encouraged me to go on a fasting diet. Now, you know, I know what fasting is. Of course, I don't understand everything about it, but I know basically what it is. You know, you're going to not eat for a while. So for me, my wife says to me, she thinks the best thing I could do is to fast from 5 o'clock at night to 9 o'clock in the morning. Now, the reason for that is because I eat a lot of junk food at night. You know, you think to yourself, well, I only have a little bowl of pretzels. That shouldn't be bad. Well, the next thing is it's a little bowl of pretzels, it's a little bowl of cookies, it's a little bowl of potato chips, and now you're way out of whack. So after watching about 50 videos of different people and stuff, the guy that I was talking to, I listened to videos that he listened to, and I've got a better understanding of what's going on here. So here's the first thing I did. Now I've lost 10 pounds, and I know it don't look it, but believe me, when I stood on that scale and I lost 10 pounds in the past week, I was happy. I know there's water weight there, but I don't care. Just anything is, you know, an incentive. But here's the thing. So I go on this fast where I don't eat from 5 until 9, and I found it easy to do because I'm eating supper like you wouldn't believe. I'm eating 2 big helpings of supper. Now that's helping me get through the overnight thing and not wanting anything. And I haven't eaten a thing, haven't gone for anything, I don't want anything. But the main part of listening to all these videos, one of the things about eating, it said do not eat grain, potatoes, and sugar. Okay, so I had cut way back on potatoes. I don't eat any sugar, but I was eating Splenda. And then as far as grain goes, I didn't really eat bread, but occasionally I'd eat bread. So now I stopped totally eating bread, I stopped totally eating potatoes, and I stopped totally eating sugar, including Splenda. And Sally's a good cook, so she was cooking things that did not have that in it. And it's a little bit of a change because, let's face it, you know, you have a piece of meat, you have a vegetable, and you usually have some kind of starch to kind of blend this thing all together. Well, what we ended up doing, one of the meals she had made me was a whole bunch of tomatoes, and I'm not a tomato person, especially raw tomatoes, but cooked, I'll eat them, and I don't mind the taste. So anyway, she put a lot of cooked tomatoes, peppers, onions, and made that with some meat. And I found that to be very enjoyable. I really like that. And the thing about the fasting is I've been on it for a week yesterday. Yesterday was my last 7 day. I'm going to go for 2 weeks at 16 and then see if I can't make it a little higher. But anyway, I know I'm still eating too much at supper time, and I'm trying to cut back on that, but it's hard because I used to come home from work not eating all day, and when I sat down for supper, I think I told you once before, one time I ate 14, and I'm not lying, 14 breaded pork chops for supper. I was just that hungry, and I still wasn't gaining weight at that point. But anyway, I need to lose weight because I need more energy. That's the problem. I'm not really caring about how I look because I already have a wife. I'm not caring about how I look. I'm not caring about, you know, what size pants I gotta wear or whatever. I don't care about that. But what I do care about is that I can't hardly walk from A to B. So after that thing last week, for a whole week of fasting, I found myself to have a lot more energy. I mean, like right now, I'm not out of breath even though I cut this log. And, you know, to a lot of you young guys, you could cut 10, 15 logs. I know, I used to do it. It wouldn't bother me, but the problem is, now it does because of my age and the problem with the diabetes. So what I was reading was that you can cure your diabetes. And let me just say this. By the end of the week, yesterday, I was down to using 100 units of insulin a day. Now that's still too much, but I have a problem that's different than some people. Not everybody, but some. I have something that they call the dawn effect. And what that is even though I eat nothing from 5 o'clock all through the night, when I wake up in the morning, my blood sugar for some reason is like 250. And it shouldn't be, because at nighttime at 11 o'clock last night, it was 130, and that's, you know, let's see, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, that's 6 hours after eating. So there's really nothing left in my stomach to get rid of, because last night we had what we called chicken chili. We had some chili beans, chicken, tomatoes, you know, things like that, onions and stuff in a tomato sauce with no sugar. It was really, really good. I really enjoyed it. But that's not what's causing this early morning rise in blood sugars. From what I see and from what I've read, and they're not really positive about it either, the doctors, when you read about it, but from what I've read, it's basically, you know, like for most of my life I've jumped up in the morning, gotten myself going, and I never ate breakfast. So I needed to have energy, and the energy was given to me from my body, from eating the night before. So I still got that problem, and that causes me to give myself a significant amount of insulin. Like if my insulin level is at 250 in the morning, what I got to do is I subtract 90 off that, because 90 is where I want to be. So that leaves me with 160, and I divide that by 2. Right now, 0.51 is exactly what I need in insulin to go down 1 point, you know, on the scale. So I need 80 units of insulin when I have 160 once I subtract the 90 from it. And I take it because I need to have it, but it's not 250. So in 1 week I've cut the insulin in half pretty much. Now, you know, I've talked to Sally about it, and I know I got to stop eating so much at nighttime. Right now I eat a very little breakfast, and the breakfast I eat is good. It's a good, healthy breakfast. Lunch, I eat maybe a handful of cherries. If I'm out, I might buy a hamburger at McDonald's and eat only the burger, which is actually their best deal, you know, as far as if you're trying to lose weight. But anyway, believe me, it's hard to stop eating. And, you know, it's not like I'm 1 out of 10 people that's overweight. I sat at the store the other day waiting for Sally to come out, and I just started jotting down what I saw. And from what I saw, 75% of the people that went into the store were as fat as me, if not fatter. And I'm overweight big time, okay? And I'm just saying something has to be done. But what I do know is that after 1 week of fasting, I have twice as much energy as I had before. So using that energy then is helping me to burn off some calories and things. It's not like where they want you to talk about calories, but inevitably calories are part of the deal. I mean, it doesn't matter what anybody says. Just because they tell you that, you know, fasting is the way to do it. Fasting is a way of stop eating calories. It's that simple. And we have to understand that and not be misled by somebody who wants to collect, you know, money on YouTube. I mean, I'm one of them, but I'm just saying we can't be misled by stuff. So I try not to mislead people. But anyway, I thought you'd like to know that that's where I'm at the moment. And the big major difference that I noticed in fasting, and this is just a 16-hour fast, was that I have more energy during the day. Now believe me, I'm 67, I worked hard all my life. I cannot run up and down the road. I still ain't walking a dog because I don't want my ankles to go on me. And walking, doing a lot of walking, you know, they say, oh, it's healthy, it's good for you. Look, I walked my other dog into oblivion. I used to walk him 2 miles a day, every day, and it just was killing me. So I stopped that, and I'm not doing it no more. Now that doesn't mean I'm not going to walk or exercise, but at the moment, I want to see what the fasting does all by itself. So, just to let you know, that's what I've been working on, and I think it's a good thing, but, you know, I want to go into it slow. Like, eating once a day doesn't appeal to me, but it doesn't mean that I don't understand it and that I know that it's probably a good thing. Now, Sally has diabetes, but she only weighs 126 pounds, so to ask her to fast is kind of tough. But the doctor, and this is what aggravates me the most, the doctor we have now and before never told us how to calculate insulin. You know, how much you actually need. Well, I got that figured out for myself and for Sally, so her insulin's been cut down. I mean, she, at nighttime, and I don't understand this, her blood sugars have been like 450 at night before she goes to bed. She gives herself a big shot and wakes up at 3 o'clock in the morning with a insulin of 50 or blood sugar of 50 and has to eat. And it was a constant, you know, bad thing. And I was doing the same thing basically, but I wasn't waking up to a low blood sugar. My blood sugars were normally high. So anyway, now that I have her also with me on taking the right amount of insulin for the problem at hand, now she's starting to get a feel for this. She's kind of tough because she said to me at her age she doesn't want to stop eating. And I understand that. Believe me, nobody likes mashed potatoes and gravy with a beef roast more than I do. But I can't have it, and it's that simple. So I'm working on that. So anyway, guys, wish me luck. If you're a prayer person, and say a prayer for me and Sally that we continue on with this and do the right things. And I'll keep making the videos as best I can. Right now I'm in need of logs, and I can't get guys to go cut logs. I'll tell you what, I have seen 3 rattlesnakes this year alone. I don't know what's going on. It seems as if this is becoming rattlesnake capital USA, because it's just, you know, you got to watch. You got to be very careful. And taking the dog out isn't fun, and that's usually why they don't cut trees in the summertime around here. Anyway, guys, have a good one. Thanks for watching my videos. I really appreciate it. If you can share the videos, that would help us even more. Subscribe, click like, and all the other crap that everybody else asks you to do. So, thank you very much. Have a good one.